Let's take a step now away from economy and economy-related issues now. And a member of the Communications Committee of Parliament, Samuel George, has served notice to challenge the illegality of the procedure adopted by the Minister for Communications and Digitalization for the SIM card re-registration exercise. The MP for Ningo Pram described the extension of a registration deadline by the ministry to July 31 as still insufficient.
The extension is not sufficient enough. What we're going to do now is to challenge the legality of the procedure. We're not saying that SIM re-registration is illegal. We are saying the procedure and methodology the minister has laid out through the NCA is illegal. Reason being that when you take the legislation in the country today, LI 2006 is the law that regulates the registration of SIM cards in Ghana. When you read section 10 of LI 2006, the interpretation section of LI 2006, it says in this regulation, unless the context otherwise requires, identification document for a citizen includes I, a valid driver's license, II, a valid national health insurance identification card, III, a valid passport, IV, a valid voter's ID card, V, a valid national identity card, or VI, any other valid form of identification document the authority may determine by publication in the Gazette and a daily newspaper of national circulation. So this is the law in Ghana today that regulates the registration of SIM cards. So can anybody explain to me why the Minister for Communication, in carrying out a legitimate re-registration process, would decide to limit what the law has specified to only one card?
George, the MP for Ningo Pram. Well, Ras Mubarak is a former MP for Kumbungu. He's one of the citizens against the SIM card re-registration process. You recall the group embarked on a no-calls day campaign to protest the decision by the NCA, the NIA, to carry out this particular process. They indicated their willingness to escalate their protest going forward. Let's get some reaction from him. Thank you, Mr. Mubarak, for joining us. I know you and the rest of you in this group had raised fundamental questions about the legality of this process. But as we have it, there's been a 3-month extension of a deadline to attempt to deal with the challenges. I'm curious to find out what you make of this.
Well, what the minister has done is a U-turn on her threats to block people's SIM cards. I am particularly disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing which man or woman with some gall in this country would go ahead and block my SIM card, which I have used for a little over 20 years now. But the extension does not take away the illegality of the entire process. We still maintain that the SIM registration exercise as it is now is illegal, and the minister or the NCA through the ministry would have to go to Parliament and seek the necessary legal backing to be able to do this. We have seen from yesterday a near stampede incident. Let me say that if anyone is injured or dies as a result of the chaos that has characterized the re-registration exercise as seen previously and yesterday, the Minister for Communication and Digitization should be held responsible for the injury or death of anyone who finds himself in that particular situation as a result of the chaos from the registration exercise. Having said that, if you read her statements, they are making provision for Ghanaians living abroad, and they're making provision for the country. And you ask yourself, what's going on here? What about the ordinary Ghanaian, the teachers, the nurses, doctors, the broadcasters, the producers, the students, the chiefs and people? You see some level of disdain and contempt exhibited against, Ghanaians whose taxes is what's used to pay the minister. If you are using a mobile app, everybody should be able to access the mobile app. Right. You don't create a mobile app and give access to Ghanaians resident abroad because you feel they are more enlightened and are likely to make noise, or diplomats because of the ramifications in blocking their SIM cards. So it's much ado about nothing. It's a disappointing U-turn on the part of the minister, and we encourage Ghanaians. Anyone who has not re-registered, should not re-register because the process as it is now remains illegal, and until the right things are done, which being one, Parliament get the necessary backing, two, develop a mobile app where people can sit in the confines of their homes or offices and re-register their SIM cards.
Right. Before I let you go, Mr. Mubarak, so I know you had also indicated a number of measures, including escalating this particular protest to, for example, including, boycott of data services at some point, if your concerns are not addressed. How far are we on that?
We did that a couple of weeks back, and following this new development, we're going to confer and take, new steps for good.
Okay, Ras Mubarak there, we just had a little twitch there, but he had made his point. He is a former MP for Kumbungu speaking to us. Time now to hear from the National Communications Authority, the Director of Consumer Protection, Nana Duffy is joining us. Thank you, Madam, for joining us. So these are the concerns that have been raised by some individuals and citizens, that this extension that has been made for individuals to attempt to get re-registered is not even adequate enough. How do you respond to this?
Well, as the Minister has said from the press release, we should know that this extension is making it possible for those who have not been able to get their Ghana cards and for those who are outside the country to be able to register. In addition to that, during the course of the registration period, we did realize that quite a number of people are using pre-registered SIM cards. So we have the issue of what we call the mismatch, where the name on a SIM card is different from the name on a Ghana card. And so these people have to be able to prove that they use a SIM card, and then the SIM card data is changed to their name before they are able to do the registration. So for all these reasons, that is why there's been a 4-month period. We encourage Ghanaians and SIM subscribers in Ghana to take advantage of this period to be able to register their SIM cards. We thank people a lot for the goodwill and for the attempts to register, and we have seen a good trend in the registration.
And how do you respond to those who insist and maintain that this particular process in its entirety has been illegal from the get-go?
Can you come again, please?
I was wondering how your response to individuals, including Ras Mubarak, we just heard from, their concern that this process from the get-go has been illegal.
I'm sorry, the NCA will not speak to comments from certain people. We believe that everybody has the opportunity to make their opinions clear. The NCA will speak on the SIM registration process and educate people on how to register for their SIM card.